Recording in progress. Did we kick it off?
Let's see. Nope, says unable to start video because your host has stopped it.
Stopped it.
Shows 5 people in the room. Attendees. Sarah, Tyrell, Tammy Roach.
I don't know how I stopped it.
Meeting. Start video.
Here, I'm gonna make you the host and see if you get the button, because it went away once I pressed it. But so you can claim it. There you go. There you go. There you go.
That's weird. Why is my background like that? Oh, because it's got Top Agent Mastermind on it.
Yeah, so what's going on in the world today, guys? Yeah, so when it formats and actually on the replay, it looks, I don't know if you've seen any of the replays, but it looks kind of cool. It looks like you're just blended in this dark black background, but when you're definitely like on it and talking on it, it seems real like floppy or weird or whatever, but it's all good. So what's going on, Tony?
Just having a great Monday so far.
Monday.
Yeah, we
were talking about engagement being down across the board. I mean, like with everything, industry losing agents. I mean, also just, time of year, but it's like normally this is a time of year where we're really kind of picking back up. It'd be interesting to see kind of your opinion on just the traffic you're speaking with and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a much later start to what we would normally call summer, I guess. But
right.
you and I have worked together for how many years now?
Almost 10.
10 years, man. Gosh. I love it, man.
Nine and a half.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, man. I was introduced to him. I think it was right when I was like, might have been taking over the brokerage or running it or something, because I think Mike took me out to lunch and had me meet you. I think you were like one of the first like people like I got to meet and say, I don't like this guy, or yeah, he's amazing. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah, I think I'd had breakfast with Mike a couple times, and he's like, okay, maybe you might be a good fit. I'll have you meet the rest of the team. And then I sat down, next thing you know, there's 6 of you sitting there.
Yeah. You kind of a big deal, right? No, we had a lot of fun, man. Going through that build and that tear, but couldn't do it with great people. You know what I mean? Like, and you definitely were one of them. So I appreciate everything you do. You're also, a partner and a managing partner of mine in the Wichita area, and so, like it's awesome that you're able to step up and do this, and so. He kind of sees, in the background, what's going on with some of this stuff. And, this guy is amazing at sales and, been in the car business for a long time. Before he got in real estate, it was just natural. And so a lot of the core selling process from a psychological standpoint is natural. And even people in the brokerage over the years have, I don't know, just kind of been taken back or off put a little bit, maybe with, how he can fry up a hog in a matter of minutes, I guess, but with a lot of volume. But he also was like the rookie of the year and all the board and stuff like that, and it set the tone for Dylan was his name. He was a PE teacher that came in after him, no sales experience, and was able to do it again. And then we were off and running for a couple years. So welcome, Tony, man. And I'm sure you're going to have fun with this group, guys. So I'm just going to fall back and let Tony take some questions or cover whatever he's got to cover. But, he'd been a team lead for us, been a coach, been in the sales business, for a long time. So, yeah. And I don't know, real estate, how many years now? 10? That's what you're saying?
Just about 10. Yep. 9, 10 years.
God, tell us all about it, man. What do you got?
Well,
How,
so just a brief story on my background is that I've come from a 27 years in the car business. So not only did my family own one of the 5 oldest franchise dealerships in the United States that was still owned by a family, but on top of that, not wanting to work for family, I went around and I worked with 11 different franchises and about 10 or 12 different dealerships over that 27-year period before coming back to the family and trying to help them rebuild something as an ending legacy. So I went around and I was really only in sales for the car business, so to speak, for selling cars. I was really only in it for a couple of years because I worked my way up into building teams and building sales forces for dealerships around the Midwest, everywhere from, my alma mater at KU up in Lawrence to Manhattan to Wichita to Oklahoma, Ark City, surrounding towns. And so anyway, I did that for a number of years, went back to the family dealership at the end because I wanted a little bit better balanced life, which there's not really a balanced life in the car business. You're working 80 to 100 hours a week if you're doing it right, it seems.
well, that's the difference, that I noticed because we car guys, well, for the most part, ethically, if they're good, seem to do okay in real estate, but it's the difference is you're not tied to a football field.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because you're going in the store at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're lucky if you get home sometimes 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock. I mean, there was some nights where we didn't close down on midnight specials until 1, 2 o'clock the next morning. So family operation was there until 2014. It fell apart. That's another story for another day, but it was not a closed door. It was a slam door. Anyway, it was a blessing in disguise because what it allowed me to do is just kind of open up my mind to some new entrepreneurial challenges that I was going to face and or want to tackle. And I don't know what got it in me, but I'd been tied to real estate since 1998. I'd kind of built some homes on the side. I'd had rental properties. I didn't, so to speak, do flips, but I've never lived in a house for over 4 years. So I kind of flipped my own houses. I'm in my 16th house, I think, right now. So I got a wild hair one morning and I called Mike Gerbic up and said, "Hey, I'm your next top agent. What do we need to do to get things going?" And he kind of was like, have you even sold real estate? I said, no. I said, but, I've sold cars and I've sold other things. I said, what's the difference? It's just another product. And he said, well, there's a lot more to it than that. So let's meet. So I met him a couple times and we had breakfast. And then I was fortunate enough to meet the team and got to meet Adam and a few of the people that are partnered with us in the past and in the current. So it was a good thing. I've had a better control over my life. I've actually made more money more consistently than jumping around to the dealerships and doing those things and training. But owning my life back and owning the control of my time was worth it as well. So that's kind of what transitioned from going out of the car business to coming into real estate. And I don't miss the car business at all. So I have hundreds and hundreds of clients that call me all the time and say, where do I go to buy a car? I'm like, I'd like to know that myself, because now I'm on the retail side. Obviously I got friends in the business that help me out, but it's just not the same. So anyway, so that's kind of where I transitioned into real estate. And first year, was fortunate enough and blessed to be around good people and good systems. So systems played a strong hold in what it is that I did, because I'd done network and mainframes and set up technology for dealerships, along with building sales forces, CRM tools, and those types of things that I'd owned in the past, and jumped right into our Boomtown system, which is what we had at that time. And as far as I knew, it was the Cadillac, still is the Cadillac, can be the Cadillac, or it could be the clunker too. Just depends on whether you utilize it or not. There's a lot of systems that are out there, and the best one is the one that you use. It doesn't matter. If you don't use it, it's a terrible system. So, there's some that may be more antiquated or more set up as like a Windows driven type platform, more like what I'd call a iPhone or an Apple world, which is kind of what I think that Boomtown is, because it's just easier for agents to tap into it. It just doesn't have so many open fields that they get lost. But I tapped into that, got rookie of the year the first year, sold 51 houses, not ever doing real estate before. I don't know, it was $8 or $9 million here in Wichita, which, you know, is in the top percentage. And so I was blessed with that. Rising star, master circles pretty much every year. And just, it's just a blessing to be around the good people that I have been. But what it really stemmed from is my past clientele that I had on the car business, because over all the years, I didn't ever sell anybody a car. You know, that sounds kind of quirky, but going around to all the different dealerships and just watching what salespeople would do and the responses that clients would get or customers would get is that here's another one. Because you all know, we kind of get that, you know, we're in that mentality of thinking that, oh, it's a, you know, a used car guy, or it's another agent, or it's another real estate agent, or another realtor, or a realtor. And, you know, we get kind of thrown into that bracket, and it doesn't have to be that way. And so that's what I really focused on, was focusing on nurturing the people that I'd built relationships with over the years in the car business, and related that to my real estate world. So, and to this day, you know, we've got the systems in place and the programming that we use to jump in and sell homes, and to get people on that, from that complacency of starting the shop to getting to the closing table, like LP Mama and, you know, a bunch of those things. And they're great systems. You should have those things in the back of your mind. But what most people don't understand, especially transitioning in this economy right now, like Adam was saying, numbers are shifting, things are changing. We're going to have to change our way of thinking, and on top of that, we're going to have to work harder. And if you're not helping your teams figure out how to work harder, and the people underneath you, or partnered with you to work harder and work in a better and a more proficient and, say, controlled environment type way, to where you can say, hey, these work, but these work better. I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, everybody's walked into a store and is looking for a new pair of shoes or a suit or something. And what's the first thing that happens? I mean, there's a store rep that walks up to you and says, you know, hey, can I help you? Or, you know, what can I show you? Or, you know, can I help you find something? And what's our response? Our response is always, nope, no, that's all right, I'm just looking. Well, that's what the same thing is what clients or customers are doing for houses, and or properties or land or auctions or whatever it may be. So, you know, how do we get out of that mindset of that salesperson to going over and trying to close somebody or sell somebody that you have absolutely no relationship with, and expect that you're going to win? And how can you convert at a higher ratio on your customers that are coming inbound, whatever the system may be, whatever you're getting for leads? How can you convert more of those? So, you know, when I started with Adam years ago, seems like a whole lot more than 9 or 10, but you know, we would always sit down once a month, and he would hold me accountable as coming into a new system and say, you know, where are you at? What's your conversion? You know, your phone calls, all those types of things. And, you know, most of the agents around there would run 3, 4, 5%. And I was at the beginning, I was running like 11 and then 17 and then 21. And I think I get up to 27 or 33%, which is what I always focused on in the car business. So that was I didn't know any better. So that was my focus on conversion for my clients, my customers that I was working with. And what it came down to on my thought process is that okay, I can ask them location and price and how many bedrooms and how many bathrooms. And it's just so generic and people get rubbed off by that. It's no different than what can I show you or what can I sell you? Or, how can I help you and walk you to the right aisle to sell you a product? Or, and the client or the customers knowing in the end that you're just thinking about you. Well, you got to stop it about you. So how can we transform that traditional command control, chasing the carrot stick type thing mentality of an agent and getting them over to truly building meaningful relationships in our ecosystem? And so that's what I focused off. That's what I've done all these years. I take leads. I get leads. I have leads coming in from multiple systems. And that's okay. But the thing is, you need to understand is that that person that's on the other side, you're going to have a lot better win with them if you figure out how to build a relationship with them before you try to sell them something. So that's what I mean by is that most people don't want to be sold. How can you sell without being sold? Adam was talking about and mentioned that, the numbers are changing, and I got this in here. I won't even try to screen share because I don't know if I could do it or not. Because I haven't done one of these webinars. So I'll just pull it up here real quick and
It's the same. You just hit that green button, man. It's the same now.
oh, there it is. Let's see if I can let's see if I can find it real quick. And if I can't, then I won't worry about it. No, I'm not finding it real fast. So we just got the numbers in from our MLS. And it's the same thing that's happening around the country, guys. It's no different in Wichita, Kansas than it's happening in Los Angeles or Tampa or Chicago or, Springfield, Missouri. It just doesn't really make much difference. The numbers are all kind of coming in as far as the percentages that have fallen off. I see from 25 to 35%. So we just got this in here. So January 21, 762, January 22, 717, January of 23, 522. That's closed listings. That's a 27% drop. It's going to get, they expect it to be that way or, or to possibly get worse, just depending. And the things that are affecting that is, the economy, inflation, technology systems, AI, there's all kinds of stuff that's getting infiltrated into our everyday thinking and making us have different shifts. Everybody's talking about chat GTPI or GTP and how's inflation going to affect the household bottom line? Should we list our house? And what are we going to do if we go buy one? Interest rates being a factor, all those types of things. That is where it's going to make a lot more of an important structure and a setting for a client that hopefully you've signed agency with up front, that you can build a relationship with them so you can have a better understanding of what it is that they're looking for without having to ask questions. I typically never have to ask how many bedrooms or how many bathrooms or where they want to live or any of that type of stuff. And the reason is because I've had a conversation with them that, like the other day, I'll give an example. Lady's on the phone. You could tell she's just been put through the hoops. I don't know how many agents you'd talked to already. And so I got her and I said, I think her name was Diane. I said, just let's slow down a minute. Why don't you just tell me about, your family and your relationship with your family and kind of what that looks like and, job and that type of stuff. So I can kind of figure out what's a good word from here. And she literally almost started crying because she'd been going through a divorce. She's a single mom, living with a parent, taking a shift, saving money, doing all those types of things. So I'd find out from her how many kids she had, where they were going to school. She told me all that stuff. I didn't have to ask what school system. I didn't have to ask how many bedrooms. She told me she had 2 kids. I said, well, then obviously she's looking for a 3, possibly a 4-bedroom. And if she wants to look at less, then the drip campaigns can take care of that herself, and or on the pre-qualification when we get to that point. But it's a matter of just having a conversation with her to build a relationship so she knows that I care, and having some empathy so that she can put trust into me so that I can move forward with her. And the relationship takes a whole different turn to where now my closing ratio percentage from building that is obviously going to increase. The chances that I have to work with her, sign her, and or commit her to something to move forward changes drastically from building that relationship. Instead of transitioning her into a system, it's nothing but numbers and properties and anything else that everybody else is doing. If you don't think she's not in somebody else's system, you're wrong. She's probably in 10 or 12 or 15 others. So that's one of the major things that I think that a lot of the agents are going to have to shift this year, is learning how to build true, honest relationships, because your numbers, I think, are going to be smaller. And if you want to be able to take hold of what's out there and what's remaining, I think that's going to be key. It's, we get the same thing that's happening to us all the time. It's, they give you the slip by giving you a fake name or a fake number, or they rush you off the phone, or, they ignore your emails and your text, and you're thinking, well, why am I not converting these leads? Or they give you, verbal cues that say, it's not me, it's for a friend, when it really is for them, or it's a family member, or I don't have any money, just things that are all just negative answers because they've been programmed to it in this marketplace. Those are things that the only way that they're going to change or shift is from us, in my opinion. You can continue to do what you do and drop the numbers into the systems and convert the smaller ratios, and hope that you're gonna make it, and that your team's gonna make it, and you're gonna be able to be supportive of that. But my 20-something years in the car business, plus the last 9 to 10 years, and yeah, I'm 56 years old. I'm getting ready to turn 57. I'm not the young buck on the block. There's a lot of people that are a lot younger than me in this business. But my experience of working with people over the years, that's what people like. When I go to a closing, I had somebody ask me this the other day, and they asked, what do you give for closing gifts? I don't know how many hundreds of homes I've closed or even been around or part of. I've never gave a closing gift. And I guess maybe my thinking is that every person that I go to the table with, for the most part, is close enough to me that they're almost an extension of my family. That's not, I don't give my family just a gift just because something happened. It's got to be something like, if it's their birthday or maybe Christmas or something like that. What happens more than not is I get to the closing table and somebody's bought me a gift. I've come home with bottles of whiskey, bottles of wine. I've had somebody give me gift cards. They've taken me out to dinner with my family. I had some clients that gave me bread baskets, just all kinds of things. And they're bringing them to me at the closing. And I'm telling you that right there, you've made a connection. When you, not only do they know that you're getting paid from this, but then they're going out to buy something to bring it to you. I think that's a major win. So if anybody's got any questions over my past or my history or what it is that I do in my daily regimen, and that, that's one thing is, what's your daily regimen look like? Is your sphere and your influence and your Facebook and your social media and all that kind of stuff, is everything that's around you, is it congruent with your intent of the way that you do business? is it, and do you have a daily regimen? Do you have something that you consistently focused on every day? That's the toughest thing for agents. They're like squirrels. Every person that I come in or bring in, or we've got agents that are, changing over and changing systems, and there's some teams that are falling apart across the US, and you see things happening. It's like, how do you reel them in to having a consistent daily productive schedule and or activities that are top dollar producing for them? A lot of people become agents because they have control of their time, and then what they figure out is that they don't know how to control their time. That's usually our biggest hurdle. Agents that I work with, as far as those types of things, and building that relationship of trust and inspiring an agent to actually build a relationship with their customer, turn to client, turn to sold customer or client or at the end, and then having referrals come from them down the road, that looks completely different than somebody just dialing into a system expecting to cold call their way to making millions. And you can do it. I mean, it's not to say that it can't be done. I know lots of people that have done that. I just think that as we transition into what we're going into for 2023 and forward, I think the systems are going to play a piece of keeping things organized, but not necessarily a higher conversion of sales, because there's fewer. I mean, like those numbers I just read to you, January of 2 years ago, we closed almost 800 listings in a month, and now we're at 500. And we just jumped up to the highest number our board's seen in 10 years in agents. I still believe it's the 87-13% rule. There's 87% of the agents that probably leave within 1 to 2 years. So I'm not worried about it. I've been through other transitions. If you didn't think in 27 years in the car business that I didn't see 3 different cycles of complete failures, from bankruptcies to having no inventories to clunkers for cars to the government giving you money to go trade your vehicles, just all kinds of things. The real estate market's not going to be much different. So, what do you do? How can you help your team? How can you help those that are in the game with you in real estate? How can you help them produce at a higher level and be a little bit more of a key player? Like I ask everybody, like I mentioned, a daily regimen, a daily schedule. Do you use your calendar? So many of them don't use their calendar. About having a vision board. A lot of agents go out there and chase the bling. They want to drive a fancy car, or, they see these guys on the internet like Dean Graziosi and, Grant Cardone and, all those types of things. And they're out there chasing the dream. That's great. But do you have something that's truly obtainable and reachable? And if you have a goal, that's great too, because goals are just something that is in your head until you write it down and you put it into plan. And if you don't have a plan, then the goal is worthless. It's not a goal. And then do you work on your physical self? That was one thing that I changed drastically about me. I went through another story for another time as well, but I went through a horrific physical and medical lapse in my life, to where I was bedridden, couldn't move. If I stepped out of bed, my feet would just split open and bleed. And I went from a little over 200 pounds to 150 pounds in about 45 days. I didn't know if it was the end or not. I took a different outlook on life from that point on. That was in 2016. So I've changed a lot of things. Took on personal trainers. I work out 6 days a week. I meditate. I'm not here to preach to anyone, but God plays a bigger role in my life now. I went through a divorce in 2010. My family turned my car dealership business upside down in 2014. And, then I got a major medical hold back to me in 2016. I told God, I said, I've got my 3, so move them on to the next one and I'll go on with life. But Was blessed to meet my new wife in 2016, the year after 17, and we've been married for a few years now, and everything's going great. But getting back to systems and the way people want to go forward from here, I truly don't believe anybody ever wants to be sold on something. I truly believe it comes down to a connection and a relationship, using your systems and your CRM tools to track everybody that you're truly working with, working through the numbers, but also take care of yourself, because if you're not happy with yourself, the people around you are not going to be happy. And trust me, I see that every day. And there's agents around me all over the place. I don't know what our agent base number is right now. Adam, have you seen it lately? I think we're 2,700 and some odd agents.
Let them all come in.
There's more, and I don't know why. Buildings are getting empty, models are changing, nobody uses office space, people are working from home. Things are changing. So my biggest focus from going here and helping people on my team is don't try to sell anybody a house. I've never tried to sell anyone a house. A house will sell itself, guys. The people like it, as well as I do. It takes care of itself. You're just here to help procure and take care of the process and protect them through the process. But I'm telling you, if you make your clients your friends, the repeat business that you will get off of that will be exponential compared to you going and paying for leads. I have agents that I don't know how much money they spend on leads. I bet as far as myself, now this is not with our team, but I mean, as far as myself, I bet I don't spend, $100 or $200 a month. And the reason is about 70 to 80% of my business is all repeat referral business that I've had from over the years, that I've nurtured and taken care of, and are continuously calling, because I dealt with 3, 4, 5 generation families from selling cars. They know that I'm in real estate, and I just try to keep, mind eyes that, hey, I'm here to help. And most of them are like, we trust Tony. I mean, even when I came in 2014, I worked the same way that I do now, about nurturing and building a relationship and not trying to sell anything, because I didn't do that in the car business. People called me and said, hey, it's time for me to buy a car. I know you'll take care of me. And I just say, come in, let's figure it out. They'd ask me, can I buy something from you? I didn't have to call them and say, hey, is it time for you to buy? And if you've got enough of that in your pipeline, your business can do really well, and you can make a nice 6-figure income and not have to sweat too hard. So I'm sure there's other ideas and styles that teams are utilizing out there. But it comes down to, connecting with the customer to hopefully convert them to a client. Basically, that's your first step. And hopefully people are, you as an agent and your team, that you're training them to listen more than they speak. I don't do a lot of this type of stuff. I've done very few of these. I was honored that Adam asked me to do this, because I'm more of the guy that's sitting there with a family that's saying, hey, tell me about you. I want to know about your family. I want to know about your kids. What excites you when you get up in the morning, and, what tears you down when you go home at night. I mean, if you get them into the point to where you're actually having a heartfelt conversation with people, they will tell you everything you need to know, and you never have to ask a question. So listen more than you speak. It's the 2 ears and 1 mouth, statement that everybody's heard for decades. It's about selling a transformation of life, or a step. Is that most of the time, if I even mention anything to that nature, it's how can I help you and your family take the next step in life, or, obtain a dream that you and your family are looking for or looking to achieve. I don't talk about what's the house that you're looking for that will make your family the happiest. It's what can I help you with that will take you and your family to the next step? What dream can I help you guys fulfill? Sometimes they'll ask me stuff that's not even related to real estate. It could be construction. It could just be something in town. They want to know, they're new here. What are sites to see? What are good restaurants? It could be stuff like that. But just it's talking and listening to them more than talking. Everybody that's out there, as far as clients and customers and people that are looking to buy houses, they know when you get on the phone, and I had this conversation with one of our agents the other day that's fairly new, and I can tell that he's a little uncomfortable with that conversion piece in the conversation with his customers to take him to a client, to take him to that next level. And the reason is this confidence of things. And it's like the agents think that they have to know everything, every entire aspect about real estate in order to go out and help somebody find a home. And that's not true. With our team or most teams that you guys are, part of, there's support mechanisms in there to help the agents. So you don't have to know everything. But what that client is knowing is that you're going to talk about you. Because every one of the phone calls that they had before was how I can help you the best and how I can get you more money and how no one can do what I do. And it's not about a sign in a yard. I'm going to do this. And I'm the social media guru and I'm the influencer. People don't want to hear that crap. It's not about you. It's about them. So if you listen and you make it about them and you speak to them as it's something that you truly want to help them do or achieve or chase their dream of whatever that may be, it'll look a whole lot better. Your numbers will go up. They will see that you care. I've taken in the last week, I know that I've taken 5, if not 6 deals from other agents in my area because of the way that I treated their family. 2 of them told me, 3 of them didn't tell me, but I found out through the backside that they had already met with multiple agents. And the way that the husband and the wife and the kids talked while I was there, I had the kids come into the room on a couple of meetings, and they're like, one of the kids just shouted right out, it's like, this guy reminds me of Uncle so-and-so. So right then I was like part of the family. Now, whether they said that to the other ones, I don't know, but there I've got, 5, 6 potential people that I'm going to help sell, and some of them, and or buy a new home. And if they're not a good fit, you got to allow your, I talk about this all the time. I talked about this to my friends. I talk about this to the people on my team. You've got to learn when to say no. There's sometimes that agents will just not have the ability to be able to say no. Sometimes no's will get you to a lot better yeses, and you just got to figure that out. So if there's anything that I can do for anyone to share more of my story or how I truly dive into building relationships with people, exactly what, some of my conversions and how they look are, Adam or somebody can, put my email. I mean, it's easy. It's tony.resnik@exprealty.com. If you want to reach out to me, but I hope some of this information's hit home with you. I hope that some of it can help you guys make decisions on what it is that you decide to do with, your teams or your clients or your customers that you're looking to convert. But I think as everyone moves forward, you're going to see that because of where we're at, the family settings, the systems that are out there that everybody's going to try jumping into, guys, there's so many, I don't know how many lead companies I got to shut down every day. They're trying to sell me more leads. Listings are going up. In fact, that's one of the numbers that I was kind of surprised on, is that I told you the numbers of what had happened on the listings. Okay, so 552, it's actually down 27.2% on our closed listings. Active listings went up 63%. Months supply. You haven't even heard months supply. When's the last time you even really talked about months supply? It's been hours or days, right? Months supply, 71.4% year over year increase. We're actually at 1.2 months. Why is that? The buyers are gone. We've got people that are thinking FOMO, they've missed out, or now they've got to do something else, or is the economy making a major shift? Maybe I should have sold already. I'm telling you, go out there and grab buyers. I think the sellers are going to be easy. I've grabbed more listings from January 1st, and now I've doubled what I did last year. I think that's going to be an easy play. And obviously, if you go get a seller, you've got a buyer. But I'm saying go find buyers that don't have anything to sell. That's where I think you're going to make some more money this year. If you're able to transition that and focus on a buyer market, and be a buyer's agent with, I know a lot of people say, I don't want to be a buyer's agent. I'm a listing agent. That's all that I do. Hogwash. Guys, when I came into it, first year I was in it, I didn't do anything but buy sides. In fact, the model that I was in, they wouldn't even let you list homes. And if you had a home that you listed or needed to list that was even friends or family, a listing agent took it and you just got part of it. I didn't even start doing that for a couple of years. Now it's I'm probably 60-40. I'm probably 60% listings, 40% buyers. But I think that number is going to shift for me. I'm going to take it the other way. I'm going to go focus on finding some buyers. There's a lot of people out there that are renting, that are paying high dollar rent. And I'm going to go build relationships with those people so that I can do the business that I want and help my team thrive for 2023. So, Adam, that's all I got. Does anyone have any questions? Something I missed?
Well, yeah, what's up, guys? So, I love it. I mean, beautiful story here. Let me finish this text real quick. Jumping. Yeah, I'm jumping in a text right there. Yeah, man. So like, I love the story. I love, maybe it's like, we got maybe an extra 10 minutes here. If anybody's got any questions, man, it's like, it's kind of like when you get around like very like seasoned vets and stuff, it's like, they just make it seem like so easy. And so like, it's like, they'll forget, like more than you learn in that month or whatever, but it's like, whatever, man. But it's true when you get older. It's like, because there's things like I don't remember, or I don't recall why I do it anymore, or it's like, it ain't like a KPI to me anymore, but it's a skill I have. And then it's like, until somebody asks me about it or how like specifically to it, then I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, not like just going to come off the top of your head. And so I think for anybody kind of looking at it, just from what you said right there, being able to ask good questions, like the empathy, like tell me a little bit about yourself. Love to learn about like your kids and all that stuff should, be happening over the phone. And if we're going to be building out of the market that we built in, like you're going to know their dog's name. You're going to know a lot about them before you even meet them, just to have an opportunity. The days of running and gunning are over. But my question would be is like, how do you keep up with the volume of it all? You know what I mean? Like being able to like do 8 deals, 10 deals, maybe like 15 in a month. Like how do you do that? And still just stay
So that's, that
not
there's a,
necessary, because you're not a prospector, right? And so even like with the internet leads and the call center and all the stuff, that I've built and ran, like, and he said 27% in the beginning, guys. For the people that are on here, you guys are probably like, he's full of shit, or that's like astronomical. You have to understand, in terms of how we did our living, breathing conversion numbers, in terms of investments into Tony, and whether, it's sign calls or other, like we had tons of different inbound, outbound is what we called, but how he worked his stuff into the mix, that was his overall closing number, right? And so, like, how do you maintain all these different relationships and then, keep them all balanced or whatever, without just picking up the phone and burning and turning and going through a lot of data, and
so
still staying like that connected.
yeah, so most of everything that I do, in my it drives my wife crazy because I get up in the morning.
You're muted, Tony.
Oh, I'm muted. No, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Adam? There, how
You're
about
still
now?
muted.
Can you hear me? No? I got a thumbs up that other people could hear me.
I don't. So you guys can hear Tony? I just can't hear him. Okay. I can't hear you.
Yep, we can hear you. Okay. Yep. Awesome. So, the thing that I focus on the most is my networking. The rest takes care of everything. So when I get up in the morning, 6:30, 6:45, my focus is I meditate for a little bit. I read in the morning and I work out. And that is my time. And it's usually till about 9:30. After that, I may make a few phone calls, catch up what needs to be done as far as transactionary type stuff, whether it needs to be docs, contracts, things. Guys, I don't have a TC. We've got, ISAs that happen within the back of our team, but I take care of all of my own stuff. I do everything. I drop my SkySlope, I drop my docs. I've been a tech guy. Coming out of college, I wrote algorithms and old languages and code and that type of stuff. So technology is easy for me. I can drop a file in SkySlope and be done with it in 5 minutes. So those things don't take my time. And if I do it at night, when everything else is done. That way I'm not wasting any time. When I was talking earlier about agents are afraid to say no, they're afraid to say no in their business because they just keep trying to throw numbers into the mix. So Adam knows one thing that I really focus on is I focus on consistently having 20 to 25 agencies. And that's a combination. So right now I have 5 pre-listings signed. And I have, I think, close to 17 or 18. I had one just drop off because now they're not completely dropped. They're just going to be another year out plus because of financial and family reasons. But I think I've got 17 that are buyers that I'm working with, trying to figure out a plethora of things. It could be that I've got 3 or 4 A's and B buyers that are ready. They're just trying to find the right house, and or they've got a mix of things that they need to sell a home to go forward. And then I've got some, C, D, E traffic that they've got a few things they need to tweak. They're waiting for their credit portfolio to come through. They had to go get a credit card to get a number bump, whatever that may be. They're working with the lender. And then I've got that Z stuff. I've got these people that have committed to me that they know that they're going to buy, but they don't know when. There's not necessarily a timeline. There could be family factors involved, financial, or they're working on credit, or it's coming out of bankruptcy and their date is November the 1st before they can come out of their bankruptcy discharge period. So those are things that I focus on. And when I say you say no, is that there's people that I put in drip campaigns and or tell them no, is that I only have so many people that I can work with at a time. And that is what I mean by saying no. I consistently have enough people that I am working with and having conversations with going forward. The rest of my day is out having lunch with somebody new every day or every other day, meeting with somebody or stopping by and saying hi. I stop by randomly at my old clients' homes and just say, hey, what have you done to the place? and most of them are in shock and awe, or they'll go, "Oh my gosh, it's a disaster today." It's like, that's all right. My house is too. Let's come on in, let's just talk. They'll invite me in for a glass of wine, a tea. Some are like, it could be 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're getting ready to go run an errand. I went to the grocery store with one of my clients one time. She said she had to go get, it was something as simple just like milk and eggs. It wasn't that, but it was something like that. She goes, "I got to run to the store, get some stuff for dinner before everybody gets home." I said, "You know what? Jump in the car. I'll take you to the store." She's like, "Really?" That kind of stuff right there will throw people so far off that you can't expect to not win. That's truly building a relationship with somebody. So those are the types of things that I do. It's not hard prospecting, cold calling, withdrawals, canceled listings, FISBOs. It's not. Could I exponentially 10x my business? I could, and I'm going to do some of those things this year and add those into my model. And then the rest of it is all on a whiteboard, and I have it duplicated. I have a whiteboard here at the office, and I have a whiteboard at home. And both of those whiteboards have the exact same information on them. So regardless of where I'm at, I can see it. It's tracked within a note file that's on my Apple system, so I can immediately change what I need to change. But so I use data tracking as far as that goes, and then everything else is in my CRM. Adam knows we use Boomtown. I do have KV Core that I use for marketing on social media. My Facebook crashed. So if you were a friend of mine and you don't see it or you don't see me, you may have to friend request me again, because all of my business pages, my Facebook personal pages, everything to my Meta platforms, I got my Instagram saved, but PayPal's all kinds of stuff hacked. So I'm starting over from ground zero on that, but that's kind of what I do within a day. I have a consistent daily regimen that I do, and then I focus on, and I utilize my calendar to no end. It's shared with my wife, and she knows exactly pretty much where I'm at. She never has to question me as far as, am I going to be able to do something? It's not so much of a question, but am I going to be free at a certain time? She knows that if I'm running till 9 o'clock at night, that those appointments are on my phone. She doesn't have to worry about it. She knows I'm at appointments. And that's one thing that I try to get everybody on, because nobody does that stuff. So using systems to keep everything in line is what, that's what they're for. But hopefully you're not using the system expecting that you're going to create a relationship, because it won't happen. You have to do that yourself. Adam, you still there? Did we lose Adam? Adam Bailey. Gary, you know where Adam's at?
I don't.
Let's see. Does anybody have any questions? I'm dropping in here. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm just going to allow everybody to talk if you want to talk.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Gary.
Hey, no, good story, man. I apologize. I'm on my cell phone. I'm having some technical difficulties here at the house, so I'm limited to this one screen. But no, good stuff, man. I love your story. I love your daily cadence. I love that you self-reflect in the morning. You have your me time, which is very important. Because that starts your day, right? It's like, having that cup of coffee or juice or whatever that case may be. So I love it. Let's just open up the floor for any questions, though. I don't know how many people on here. All I see is you, Tony. So if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself, ask a question. If not, we could just kind of wrap it up.
Sounds good. Does anybody have anything?
It's
Whether I'm
Tammy
able to-
Roach from the Grant Johnson Group.
Hi,
I
Tammy.
think, you know what, most of us are seasoned agents on here, but when we are going back to our teams, you said a great point, Tony, that basically said, you know, they're looking at you like, you know, I want to be there now. And you got to give them the stepping stones to get there. Like, we didn't just like fall into this, you know, 20 some years later and we make it look easy, you know? So I think going back, one of the hard things every day, I have a lot of new team members, is taking it back and going, okay, they need this information. How can I best, you know, support them? How can I do that? Because yeah, this just comes second nature to us that are running teams, but you put it in a way that, you know what, you got to go back and how simple can you make it here? Like, I just had a brand new agent. I had no idea they had a purchase agreement yesterday. And they're like, what's trust funds? I'm like, have you even joined the board yet? So good reminder.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, it's, you know, whether I've been in real estate only since 2014, it was just a shift of product for me. So, I mean, I went from a car to a house. It was a bigger dollar sign, but you still don't take care of your people, and you don't connect any differently if you really want to build a business. So, I mean, from when I started in the 80s in the car business to now, I literally, and this is my own personal spreadsheet, data sheet of sphere of influence and people that I've sold something to as far as a car, or done business with them as far as real estate, or sold or done service or parts or something to cars and or other fields. I have like 17 or 18,000 people in my data that I've actually done business with over all those years. And so that's where I don't necessarily need to prospect. I can just go back and call a bunch of people and they're going to connect with me, because I can, even from 5 years ago, I can say, hey, you know, remember when you did this? Or even 10 or 15 years ago, I called some people the other day and said, hey, you know, it's been a long time since you bought a car. I said, they're like, yeah, you're doing houses. So they even knew what I was doing. But like you said, Tammy, our people that are coming into the systems now, or haven't been around or built their systems that way, or nurtured their clients, or talked to them even in that, you know, type of tone. I think that's something that we could really help our teams out with. And I've had to kind of come and grasp that as well, is that it's easier for me. I have a gal that's on our team and she's just like, I can't be you. And so I'm like, okay, how can I help that? How can I help transition to where it's not, you're not looking at data and you're looking at a relationship and building a relationship with client instead of just data. So anybody else? Gary, I don't think anybody has anything else, so I guess we can take this as a wrap.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Tony, we appreciate you, man. I learned a lot of new things about you, man. I love it. I love your story. We have to talk offline sometime. We got a lot of common denominators there, but
Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. Good stuff. So I appreciate everybody jump onto the call. Thank you so much, Tony. It was awesome. Thank you for the insight and some wisdom. Everybody else, take care. Have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Tony.
have a good day, everybody.